everybody to the Double Chow podcast. Um,
Welcome.
we are we are here today again on Monday, like we said we would be. So it's a good
Yes,
time.
and how we will be for the end of time, as we
yeah,
said
yeah,
in the last one.
yeah. Can you
Um,
real quick? Can you share this to
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, let me do that.
So yeah, welcome back. Today we kind of decided we were gonna focus a little bit more on us instead of the CDL as a whole. We are going to throw in a little bit of CDL stuff in there because there are some things going on. But as of now,
It's
we
been
kind of.
it's been pretty light on the
Yeah.
CDL news as of
Yeah.
late. So, we're going to focus a little bit more on talking about us because and that's not to say that this is the only time we're ever going to talk about us, but um I feel like it's pretty good for one of the first episodes of the podcast to kind of talk about ourselves more so that people who watch don't think we're just all about Call of Duty. We are people with lives and other stuff going on. So, um, yeah, I don't know how you want to start it, Ethan. What do you want to do here?
Um, I don't know. I would say just go for it and kind of. Let's just.
Well, so first, I think we can talk about like has anything new happened in your life since last week?
No. I have just straight up been. Just. Just been working, man.
Well, I mean, you created a dope ass Discord
Oh
server
yeah, I
for the
did do that. I
podcast.
did do that.
So that's pretty cool, can't discredit that.
Yeah.
Um I mean, for me, uh not much has changed either in the last week or so. Today I got a call that I got accepted to a month-long internship with Tesla, so that's exciting. If you guys didn't know, I'm a pretty big car nerd, so um, I was pretty excited, and I also own a Tesla, so um, I was pretty excited about that, and I am excited. It's gonna start at the end of this month. Isaiah's here in the chat, which is great as always.
It's very
But yeah, that's pretty much all that's happened new in my life since last week. I did have a funny thing happen to me at work where I work currently. So I work at a relatively popular theme park here in Southern California.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I don't think I'm gonna say the name of the theme park, but
What? You don't want everybody to
it's
come see you at work?
no, it's not Disneyland.
Ah.
But it is a popular one in Southern California. And I work there as a VIP tour guide. So I tour around people who pay a significant amount of money to come to Legoland. Oh,
Ah. Cut it. We'll cut it. We'll cut it out. We'll cut it out.
Yeah, we'll cut it out. That come to Six Flags, and they don't want to wait in line to get on the rides and stuff, which makes sense, I know, but it is a lot of money, like I said. So I was doing a tour at the park. I kind of forgot who I forgot who I was touring, but it was someone wealthy. And we were walking through the park, and I was on the tour with another guide because it was a large group. And as we're walking through, we're coming up on this roller coaster that we're gonna ride next. But like the way we get into it is a little bit weird. So I meant to stop my group in a very specific spot in order to make sure that we're all corralled and we're gonna go in there. But as I'm walking up there, I see someone walking towards me, and I was like, "That is Mel Gibson."
Okay.
And if you guys, I know a lot of like younger people don't really know who Mel Gibson is, but he was if you don't know, he's a huge movie star, action star, all kinds of stuff in like the 90s and early 2000s and stuff. So he was a big deal, especially when I was growing up. I watched a lot of his movies and stuff, and then he kind of went crazy a little bit, but that is besides the point. But I was like, "That's Mel Gibson walking towards me right now," and I kind of just stopped and was looking at him. I was like, "What is going on?" Because I was really confused because I was trying to see if he was also on a VIP tour in the park because usually celebrities who come to the park go on a VIP tour. Uh, but he was just walking around, and I didn't see anyone else with him. And he looked a little bit confused, and he was just wearing like an old T-shirt and some basketball shorts. And the other guide who was on the tour with me noticed that I was just stopped and staring, and he was like, "What is going on? Are you okay?" And I just kind of turned towards him because I had to like turn my back because Mel Gibson was walking directly behind me, and I didn't want Mel Gibson to know that I was telling this guy that he was here. So I was just like, "This Mel Gibson," and the other guy was like, "What?" And I was like, "Mel Gibson." And then he was like, "What are you talking about?" And then he looks and he was like, "It's Mel Gibson." I was like, "Yeah, I know, dude. It's Mel Gibson right behind me." So that was really weird. And then later on in the day, we were at another area of the park. It was probably like 10 minutes later.
Later on in the day,
We
10 minutes
we
later.
were yeah, we were coming off another ride, and I saw Mel Gibson again.
Mm.
Okay. Once again, alone. I didn't see anyone with him this entire time. And he uh sat down to eat something. Like he just pulled out a Tupperware full of food and he started munching on it. And I was like, this is my opportunity to make sure that this is truly Mel Gibson. So I was like standing like right next to him while he was eating, and I was like, I looked down and I was like, oh, that looks good, to whatever he was eating, because I just wanted to hear him talk because I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it was him. And he looked up at me and he was like, "Hey, thanks." And I was like, "Oh shit, that was Mel Gibson." And I just walked away. But that was my fun story at work. Um, it was just really random because he was just there, seemingly alone and not on a VIP tour for any reason.
Interesting.
And he's been to the park before, and he's been on a VIP tour before, so I don't know why he didn't do it this time. Uh, that was my fun work story at Six
Nice.
Flags in California.
Nice. I don't have a lot of fun work stories. The only stories I really have are like just craziness. Just
um, yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine having to deal with some pretty stupid people,
Yeah,
and also
dude.
some just pretty interesting people.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Um, yeah, so Isaiah talked about Suicide Squad, and he said it was ass. Now I haven't seen it, but from what I've seen online, I thought it was doing pretty well.
I think it's doing pretty well on sales.
Uh, but
I
not
don't know.
in
It's
actual.
so I literally just watched it. That's what I was doing before this. And
Okay.
it's interesting. My roommate thinks it's better than the first one. I personally don't know if I do or not.
Hmm.
Uh, it was. It's an interesting one, for sure.
What uh what issues do you have with it?
So, like Isaiah said, I agree with. They kind of just focus so much on trying to make it really funny that
Okay,
a
okay.
lot of it almost seemed like just a joke. I don't know. There's just a ton of it. But at the same time, there were some good parts and stuff like that. And then, but also the story didn't make a ton of sense. And it was just kind of all over the place.
Were they
So,
trying to do like the Deadpool thing? Because Deadpool is
yeah, I think it was really
funny,
similar
and
to
it's a good movie.
Deadpool. But, like, I would say the comedy was similar to Deadpool. But I don't know. It was really it's really hard to explain. But it wasn't a bad movie. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't terrible. But I wouldn't be like, yo, let's go watch that again with friends. Like I just don't think it's that movie for me. So
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't watch it then. It's on.
I
It's
think it's
on HBO
a
Max,
good
right?
one and done movie. I think,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
in my
That's interesting.
opinion.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it, but that's kind of upsetting that it's not good. Are you a fan of horror movies by any
Horror
chance?
movies, I have mixed opinions about horror movies. I'm
Okay,
not a
okay.
big guy with the scary stuff. It's not really my thing. But
Like it impacts you is what you're saying? Like you get scared by it and stuff?
yeah.
Well, I guess like that is the point of a scary movie, but I mean, I feel that. I really like horror movies, but I don't like
Mhm.
horror movies that are overly like gory. I like good horror movies. I don't like horror movies that are like about a serial killer or something, because I feel like to me that doesn't affect me enough because I'm just like it's just a person.
It's not worth my time.
Like yeah, it's just a person. Like what is that? What, like this isn't scary. But if it's like a ghost, it's like oh shit. How do I deal with that? You
But if
know?
it's a ghost, something that can't really like harm you in any
But
real
like I don't know
way,
if it
like.
can. I don't know.
But
I don't
like
know
a
about that.
serial killer has killed like hundreds of people. Nah,
Nah,
get
dude,
that out of
he's not
here.
gonna get me. I'm too smart for that
Oh, okay.
movie. Anyway, uh, that's movie stuff. Um, if we want to talk about CDL, I mean, it would be a quick conversation because this past week hasn't been a whole lot of news.
Yeah, I mean, I would say let's kind of wait a little bit just because there's really not much to talk about, and I think it'd be a
Yeah,
good kind of just segue topic.
and we do have some questions from the podcast Discord server that we will get to. Um,
Which,
but yeah,
by the way, you guys should get into if you're not already
yes,
there. It
yes,
is. I worked my
uh,
ass off to make it, and I'm trying to
it's
build
really
up a
dope.
community. So
It is very
get
very
in
cool.
there, get some stuff going, build some community up, and I'd love to see it grow. So
Um, we could talk about. Uh, uh, do you want to talk about the NBA, Ethan? Because
that's all you, brother.
a couple things happened in the NBA this past week that were pretty interesting. I think last time it was the Russell Westbrook trade to the Lakers, but then now the Lakers also got Carmelo Anthony, which is pretty insane. Um, so I don't know. This season's gonna be so weird because it kind of reminds me of when it was like one of Kobe's last seasons, and he got Dwight Howard and Steve Nash on his team, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, this is about to be crazy." And then like 20 games into the season, Steve Nash fucking snaps his leg and is gone. And Dwight Howard just didn't play super well. And then Kobe had to put everything on his back. And then he tore his Achilles at the end of the season. So
Nice.
it's just like, are these people going to be too old to be effective? Or are they going to be just fine? And I hope they're just fine because I love the Lakers, but we'll see what happens. As far as other NBA stuff, like that's kind of the biggest news. I don't think anything else super crazy happened. DeMar DeRozan went to the
Oh, I wanted to
Bulls.
ask you,
What's up?
um, do you think, okay, like I know that, you know, there are a few people in this kind of new Lakers team that are coming to an end.
Yes.
But do you think that if they kind of stayed here, do you think they could build some sort of dynasty?
You mean the older guys?
I would say just what they're doing right now just kind of seems like that's the intent. They're
I
getting,
don't know.
dude, I swear, like, I don't watch a ton of basketball, okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I do not. I'm just not a huge basketball guy. Like, I watch
Yeah.
the finals and, like, some of the playoffs, and that's it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
like, everyone that has came to the Lakers, I'm like, hey, I know that name. I know that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's
Yeah,
a
they've been
good
around for a
basketball
while.
player. And they're always going to the Lakers. And just, in my opinion, that just seems kind of fishy to me.
Well, a lot of people come to the Lakers because
It's the Lakers.
it's the Lakers. They're not the most successful. I think I don't know. Maybe they're tied with Boston now after they just won the championship a couple years ago. but the Lakers, like, they have such a draw because it's in LA, so there's all kinds of business stuff going on if players want to get involved with that. There's obviously like movies, movie opportunities and like commercial opportunities. Like there's just so many more opportunities being in a city like LA. And they've always kind of been the most entertaining team to follow and stuff like that. So I think that's why a lot of people come to the Lakers.
I feel like it's also kind of like the optic of basketball. Like
Yeah,
everybody that
kind of.
watches it knows about the Lakers.
Yep.
Like it's the name, I think, is a huge reason.
100%. Yeah, it definitely is. And I don't know if what they're doing right now, I don't think they're going to build a dynasty because, like you said, a few of the players are on their way out. I think what they're trying to do is because Carmelo Anthony has never won a ring, and a lot of people say he's deserving of one because he's a really good player and he's been a good player throughout his career. And Russell Westbrook has never won a ring, but he's also a very good player. So I think what they're trying to do is, number one, I think their main reason is just to try to get LeBron another ring.
Well, yeah, and I get that, but I'm just saying, like, when you think about Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, and these are like guys that are like single-handedly carrying their team, and putting them all together on one team just seems like they're trying to do so much.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my question is coming from, because for me, someone who doesn't watch basketball but happens to realize that these guys are really good at it, that they're all putting on the same team, it just seems like it's like if you were to take like all the MVPs from this year and put them on the same team in COD.
Yeah.
Like they would probably just fry everyone's shit. And so
I mean, that's kind of just the direction of the modern NBA. Like back in the day, players would just stick with their teams for either their entire career or a very large portion of their career. And that was because players didn't have as big of brands as teams did. But now players are starting to realize, like, hey, we kind of have the power in where we want to go and how much we want to get paid. And we don't have to be tied down to a team. So we can go wherever we want to try to win a championship. And we probably make just as much money, if not more money, off our endorsements than we do on our NBA contracts. So we don't need that much money from our NBA contracts. So we can go wherever we want to try to win. So then James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, that's how you can get all three of those fucking top tier players on one team without busting your team's salary cap, because you don't have to pay him as much. Like Carmelo Anthony and a few of the other guys that just signed to the Lakers, they just signed on 1-year deals. And a lot of the, like, I think there were like 6 or 7 signings that all amounted to only like $15 million for all 6 of those players. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money, but like when you got people on like 6-year contracts making like $600 million off those contracts or something, you know, that's kind of a steal for those kind of caliber players.
No, yeah, I get it. I'm just making a joke.
But anyway, yeah, the NBA is getting interesting. I liked it better when it was kind of like you stayed with your team. That was your team. You stayed there as long as you could to try to win that team a championship.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. I probably sound like an old man when I that stuff. Chris came in here and said, "What do you think about Waffle House?"
Waffle House. I dig Waffle House. I mean, they got some good food. Restaurant's kind of funky.
I think I can safely say, Ethan, that I've never been to a Waffle House.
What? No shit.
I don't even know if we have Waffle House in California. I'm sure we do, but I don't think I've ever seen one, and I don't think I've ever been to one. I've seen like the International House of Pancakes, but not a Waffle House.
Everyone has. How have you not? What's up, buddy?
Anyway, I mean, the next thing I had on my list to talk about was music, but I don't know if you want to get into that. Ethan, today, or do you want us to devote it to its own
Let's
podcast?
wait. Let's wait until next
Okay.
episode. We can get some kind of some questions from the community about music and some opinions, and then we can kind of branch off of those.
Okay.
Right now, I kind of wanted to go into the Call of Duty aspect of things.
Good idea.
Talk a little bit about that because there isn't much to talk about, but I think we can. It's safe to say that it won't be too long. So, um, first things first, let's talk about champs. All right. Kind of the biggest thing that's been going on. If fans are going to be there, if they're not. It's been yet to see. However, there's been multiple tweets and things like that coming to surface that say that casters aren't going to be there. Which, in
Yep.
my opinion, shows that if the casters aren't going to be there, then why would they allow fans? Right? So.
Yeah. I don't know because they didn't. They had allowed fans last event. But
Yeah, but I
casters
think
weren't there.
it was kind of a last second decision, and that's why casters weren't there.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think hopefully things stay relatively the same as they were. I'm cool, I guess, with casters not being there if fans can be there, but it seems more likely that, like, if they want to play it safer, obviously the safest is to not allow anyone there besides
Yeah.
the players. But even that isn't safe because some of the players have uh, been have come down with COVID.
Tested
So
positive, yeah.
yeah, so I don't know about that, but I feel like if they wanted to be safer, they would allow just the casters and not the fans.
That's
Because
what I think. So
that's
that's
a
what I'm saying
smaller
with
group.
the statement of if they're not going to have casters, then they're not going to have fans.
Yeah,
I just feel like if they're smart over there, like they haven't been all year,
it's yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's a rough situation in the entire country for a lot of things, uh, because of COVID, and it just seems like nothing is confirmed. So that's what's worrying. Because if these things were going to happen, then I feel like they would have confirmed them by now in order to build hype. But like you said, Activision is not great at making good decisions. So
yeah.
who knows what'll happen?
Who knows? Who knows?
And speaking of that, I know T-Mobile recently. Like, I wonder how many sponsors are gonna leave the CDL because of Activision's lawsuit and everything. Like, imagine if a bunch of the sponsors just drop. What are they gonna do? That would be terrifying.
It's kind of just the near end, I would say, of things as we know it in the CDL. But I'm not gonna place any speculation. That's the word. Just because I feel like Activision's gonna find some sort of weaselly way to get out of it. So
Yeah.
in that case, I don't necessarily mind. I mean, I think the CDL itself has done a pretty good job of trying to build up COD into what it was. Activision, they can, stay out of things. But as far as the CDL goes, I think I've been, personally at least, I've been happy with how things have been going. I think it's been nice. I mean, obviously, with players coming down with COVID and things like that, at the only event that they've finally had with fans in it isn't a good sign,
Yeah.
But I still, I mean, when we talked about last week how much the fans bring to LAN and how fun it is to watch again, so I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, I hope fans are there just because it adds such a cool element, and it's like the NBA bubble a couple years ago. It's like random teams will just do well because fans aren't there, and that it's just so much. Fans like put on so much pressure on teams and stuff. It just I hope they're there. Um, do you want to talk about some of the questions that people asked about the CDL in the Discord?
Sure, sure, we can bring them in.
Uh, so first person who asked, this is from Brixie Season, aka Isaiah. Um, he said, "What are you guys' thoughts on the current state of the CDL with all the COVID shit going on?" We kind of just talked about that. And then he also said, "Who do you guys think is the COD goat? Karma, Crim, or Clay?"
Well, in my opinion, it's kind of disrespectful that you didn't put Scump in there. Uh, I mean, I get also though why you didn't, because even though Scump has been around and he's just always been that guy, he is that guy, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
But between the three, in my opinion, you just can't really give it to Clay.
Yeah.
Like, I think that he is goated, and the things that he's been able to do on the subliners roster is incredible. Getting a lot of something out of absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, he's kind of just been in the league, if you know what I mean. He hasn't really been like that goat, like Clay. Like, I feel like if you put Clay against Krim would win that. Or if you put Karma, not this year obviously, because Karma probably never touched Cold War a day in his life. But if you put Karma in his prime and Clay in his prime against each other, I just take Karma in that all day, in my opinion. So I would say it's down between Krim and Karma, and I agree with Chris by saying that it's got to be Karma. I know that Krim, has got the same amount of rings and more winnings now, but I just don't think that's what makes someone the greatest of all time. I mean, when you talk about, like, for instance, in basketball, like, there's still an argument between who's the GOAT between LeBron and MJ. And people
Yep.
don't say MJ's the GOAT because he has more rings. And sure, some people do say that, but those people don't know a lot about basketball.
Yep.
So it's just like the value that both of those players bring to their individual teams without the rings is just, that's what makes them goated, in my opinion. And that's what I'm saying. And like, when you have Karma in a good state with COD, because he did play last year and he did not do too well. But like, when you have, a good COD and someone who knows, his way around and kind of can really catch his stride, I feel like that's where you see who the GOAT is. So
Yeah. I agree with that. I also say, out of those three, I would choose Karma because, yeah, like you said, Krim may have the same amount of rings and more earnings, but at the same time, uh, Krim's last ring was online, so it's like, it's that. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that says
I
it doesn't
get
count.
that it's the same level of competition still.
It's not.
But
It's not the same,
I
bro.
agree, when you have a team that is constantly getting lower ping and things like that, no matter who they put, excuse me, I just think that I just I also am not going to be the guy that say that ring doesn't count. You know, we got the year done and it was still, decently fun to watch, so I still enjoyed it, but
I think the fact that Karma got all three of his on LAN uh, speaks volumes. And I mean, now that they're back on LAN, I mean, Empire hasn't been looking as great as they haven't been looking as great as they were last year. The whole year so far.
yeah. I
So
mean, they didn't even look good this LAN in general. They looked better last
yeah.
LAN than they did this one.
So was Clay the answer? Because Clay was on their team last year. Maybe Clay is the goat. But
Yeah, maybe.
and I know Krim has like more earnings, but it's also like Call of Duty has evolved so much that there's just bigger prize pools now. So I don't think that's a fair
Yeah.
comparison. Um, yeah, I don't. Out of those three, I would say Karma because he brings so much to his teams. His IQ and just the stuff he does on the map is so essential. And then at the same time, he can turn up and slay out whenever they need him to. So I'd say Karma out of those three.
All right.
The next question was actually from Ace Spades Ace, and he said, "Who's your pick to win champs?"
Ooh, that's a
And
good
then
one.
also, who is your dark horse pick? Like, who do you think might come out and shock some people?
I know it's probably gonna be interesting to hear, but I would say my dark horse is Optic. Because I'm an Optic fan, as anyone who knows me knows. And I'm not just going to say that they're my all-around pick. I mean, they have had some very, very high highs and very low lows this year. And I think that if they play how they know how to play, I think they could win, and that's why they're my dark horse pick. I think my overall pick to win it, it's got to be Atlanta FaZe. I mean, the guys on that team are just goated. They didn't play too well this last major, but I just feel like they were kind of uncomfortable. And you can't really say that none of those guys have played on LAN, and that's why they were losing because of the fans. But you got to remember, E United roster was half of this team, so or 3/4 of this team was on the E United roster.
Yep.
So, and E United won champs 2 years ago. So it's like, it's not like they get scared of the fans. Like, they know how to play under that pressure. I mean, Simp won a year MVP the year that was all online. The last year that was all online. In his rookie year, he won MVP. So it's like, the man knows how to play under pressure. So you can't say that he's losing it because of LAN and all this bullshit. So, in my opinion, that's got to be my overall pick to win champs, is probably Atlanta FaZe. But yeah, Dark Horse is going to be Optic, just because I want to see them do good, and I know that they could win it if they played well the whole tournament.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with FaZe winning, although, yeah, I'd say they have the strongest chance of winning. I would also agree with your dark horse, but I'm going to choose a different one because I want to be different.
I think I know who you're going to say, but go for it.
Do you? Well, I'm actually going between... I was going to say subliners, but that is very dependent on if... Because a lot of people were saying Clay might come back for champs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's been rumors floating around that Clay's been getting in scrims again with the team.
Yeah.
So we shall see, but continue.
If that happens, I think they have a decent chance of really surprising people because they didn't look too hot. Their last
it was weird. There were times where they looked really good, and then there was times where it was like, why are they at this tournament? Like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah. So they could, but a lot of factors have to come together, including Clay coming back, including him coming back and actually bringing team morale up. Like, what if their morale is to a point of no return because their leader Clay just kind of left them?
Yeah.
And what if they just can't? It can't be repaired. But we'll see. I'd say my kind of safer. I don't know if it's a dark horse, but I mean, Rocker surprised everyone.
They were the dark
event.
horse last event.
And I still see them, like, if they come out, because I think Toronto will come out and play really well, even though they...
I mean, Toronto always plays well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about last event, like, sure, they got reverse swept, but they won 4 straight. Like, they were frying. And they kind of just let it out.
Didn't they 3-0 Optic or 3-1 them or something?
3-1, I think.
Yeah.
3-1 Optic, and then they Who did they beat before Optic?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Empire,
Maybe
maybe.
it was Empire.
Yeah. So I think if they're able to do the biggest regain of the century and not let that
You know what? I'm
that reverse sweep
changing
bother
my
them.
dark horse.
Okay, okay.
My dark horse, Seattle Surge. Just kidding.
They're
Not
not
even
even.
there. I forgot. If they were though, that would be my dark horse
It's
pick.
it's Phase, Optic, Empire,
All the top
Mutineers.
teams basically, and
Yeah.
then and then like
Imagine if
Mutineers,
Mutineers come out and
Mutineers,
Thieves.
Thieves.
What if
Let me
Thieves
see.
pull it together, bro? Imagine.
Mutineers, Thieves. Who else? It's FaZe, Rocker, Empire, Thieves, Florida, Subliners, Toronto. I feel like there's another one, but I guess there isn't. I feel like we're missing some teams here.
No, Phase, Chicago, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Florida, Thieves, Rocker, Subliners, Ultra.
Huh. I guess I wasn't missing teams.
Oh,
That just seems like no teams, though.
I know that's. We
I
need
also,
to add more teams.
yeah,
to the
I also
CDL.
don't agree with the whole, like, not everyone gets to play for champs. I feel like that's the best part about champs.
Yeah.
Is like anyone can win it. Like.
And we saw Surge last event.
Yeah, exactly. When you have
finally
teams,
back on land with fans, and they start frying. Dude.
Yeah, they were playing so well, and then just because they weren't good online or whatever the reason was, we just don't get to see them again until next year. And I just don't agree with that. I just feel like we should just open it up. I don't see the reason for having this point system, because all it does is show who's playing better in the mid-season tournaments. Like, that's all it does.
Yeah. I mean, we can have the points, but maybe that'll just give them certain advantages in
map picks
playoffs
or
and stuff.
or playoffs,
or like winners
or
brackets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that, punishing teams for not getting those points is really. I feel like it should be like a reward type system and not a punishment type system, because it is a punishment type system, and you can't change my mind. When you think about teams like Seattle Surge, sure, they didn't have the best year, but there were times where they would take teams to game fives. Like, they took Optic to multiple game fives. They took Toronto to a game five. Like, they're not a bad team. They just had a bad year. And I just feel like they shouldn't be punished for them losing mid-season tournaments because that's just how it is. I don't know.
I think that if Rocker places higher than Ultra in champs, that Standy should definitely win Rookie of the Year, and I'll be upset if he doesn't.
Yes, I agree.
Because he's been playing out of his mind, and if he can keep that up, that'd be wild. I'm also still pissed that Envoy isn't in an MVP discussion.
Yeah, or even someone like Dashy. Like, sure, he hasn't been like that all every series, but I still feel like he's done enough throughout the year to put him in the talk.
Yeah.
But I mean, not putting either of them in is kind of just disrespectful, in my opinion.
If you think about what MVP means, most valuable player. So if you look at it like, when Dashy's popping off, his team is most likely going to win.
All I'm saying is there has not been a game that I've seen Dashy frying and Optic hasn't won. Or vice versa with Envoy.
Yeah.
If Envoy's having a good game, they're probably going to win the map 90% of the time.
But like with Scump, if he has a good game, you don't know.
Yeah.
They might lose the map.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were when Scump was on that tear for like 3 weekends in a row. They didn't win shit. They were finishing like top 5, if that. So it's like, it's not all about, just that specific player. It's, it's about what they bring to the team. And like, sure, players like Shotzi and Abizi and Simp, obviously, those ones I'm not too mad about. I mean, Simp and Abizi have been absolute terrors on the map every single fucking tournament, bro. No matter
Yeah.
who they're playing, no matter when or where they're playing, they always just do something, and it's insane. So I don't, I understand that, but someone like Shotzi, who's had a very on and
Yeah,
off
man.
year, like that's just
I don't
not
get
it
why
for
he's up
me.
there. I feel like they just put him up there because he won last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
That's
everyone's
stupid.
player to watch. Like he's been doing well the last two tournaments, and now he's getting MVP talk. Like that doesn't make sense.
Nah. I hope if he wins it, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I would say the only person that could win it that would make me really mad is Shotzi. Like if Abizi and or Simp win it, I mean,
Yeah.
they deserve it. They worked their ass off and played really well all year. But someone like Shotzi, who, like I said, had played like ass the first like 3/5 of the year,
Yeah.
like that just is not an MVP to me. He's not a most valuable player. Like sure, Shotzi has the takeover ability like Envoy and Dashi do, where if he's playing well, a lot of times Dallas is going to win. But if he's only been doing it for half the year, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And they've been winning without him doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Too. So
Exactly.
Like, is he really the MVP?
Yeah. I agree.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Ethan?
I don't have any more kind of subjects to talk about at the moment. Oh, my question that I wrote down, just one singular question. Also,
Okay,
that
let's hear it.
sunlight
Yeah,
is
dude,
is beaming down.
Let me fix this.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Okay. Anywho, we'll ask chat then. What would you need? Like, what are the keys to building the best team? Like, if you could have CDL right now, if you could take any players, put them on a team,
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, did you hear my question?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, what do you think I'll just leave it at the keys for now, and we can kind of do a little team builder game after this. But what do you think the keys are to building that goated team? I wouldn't say a dynasty, but say you had 1 year to win champs. What keys would you look for to try to do that?
Like in. Well, that's a very tough question. That's too broad. I can answer.
I'm trying to think of how to simplify. Like, would you look for a strong leader, or would you try to build the team around a specific player or a specific type of player?
I would definitely. I think there needs to be a strong leader in the team, 100%. And then I think it comes down to, because I feel like at that level, especially like the really professional level, almost anyone can just fucking turn up. They have the gun skill, they can slay out, all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it really comes down to knowing your roles and understanding how you can help the team, and not having a problem just doing your role. Obviously stepping out of it in rare instances when you have to, but just doing your role and making sure that you're helping the team win, I think is very important. Just a group of players who know that the ultimate goal is to win a championship or win an event or whatever, and they're gonna do what they gotta do to win that event. Does that make sense?
Sure.
What
I mean, I
would yours be?
kind of meant more of like, what would you look for in the 4 players that you did pick up? So for me, for example, I would say the keys that I would look for to build that team, like, for one, I agree with Billy, and I would pick up a really strong leader.
Yeah.
Someone like a Clay or even a Krim, even though I don't really like him, he is a good leader. Um,
Yep.
Someone with that type of energy and leadership skills. Secondly, I would want to find a player that is like really cracked, like someone like Standy or like Simper Abizi, like someone that really knows all the little quirks and details about the game, and they kind of just abuse them and be really scummy and annoying on the map.
Yeah.
The other person that I would want is a Slayer, someone that if they get into a gunfight, that they're gonna win it, like Dashy or Scump when he's on. I never see that guy lose a gunfight when he is playing well. Like
Yep.
someone like that. And last but not least, I kind of want, kind of like a moderator, someone that kind of takes control of the team, not like a captain, but kind of just keeps everything flowing, keeps everything smooth, so that way the two Slayer crackheads on the team, they don't get too crazy and go out of line trying to do their own thing. I want that type of IGL player
Yeah.
to kind of be there to make sure everyone's on the same page and do everything that way. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would look for a leader. I would look for a Slayer for sure. Like a simp or something. And then I really like the way like Envoy and Abizi play. I think that's pretty necessary for a team. And then last guy I would look for is someone like Karma or Major Maniac or something. Someone who doesn't like put up huge numbers, but can if they need to. But most of their work is done just like calling out or just picking up like lanes, just that intuition of knowing like these guys are gonna probably come from here now, or
these guys
I need to
could
run
go
this route.
way. Let's do this, like that
Yeah,
type of thing.
exactly. Like just doing the dirty work, picking up objective time. Basically that person that's like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do in this situation to help the team win. And I don't care if I pop off. I don't care if I get a fucking highlight on the screen or whatever. I just want to win. So I think that would be kind of my dream team.
Sounds good. All right, well,
Yeah.
to follow that up, let's talk players. If you could build a dream team, you could take any player in the CDL, put them together. What do you choose?
I think I would do Sim, Envoy. Ooh. I think I'd choose Arcides as AR. I was thinking maybe Arcides and Formal, but like I don't know how that duo would work because they're both main ARs. But I feel like one of them could flex, probably. I think for now that's my choice. Arcides, Formal, Sim, Envoy.
Okay. Mine's a little different. I'm gonna go Abizi, Envoy. I want to have Cammy.
Okay.
And Dashy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got a super fucking aggro team.
Yeah. I think I would like that. I think that's kind of, that's my play style. That's how I play the game. I'm that SMG Slayer crackhead guy, So I think that's kind of what I would like to see in my own team is super aggressive pushes, yet they can play really smart when you have players like Abizi, Envoy, Cammy. Those types of players really know how to play the game well. So I think that's kind of my squad.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hunter came into the chat.
Yeah,
Evo.
I saw that. Hunter Evo.
He said what's the next step after Call of Duty? I think we kind of talked about that in the last podcast, but
But we
I'll
didn't
kind of go over
upload
it again.
it, so you can talk
But
about
we
it
didn't
again.
upload it. Yeah, so I'll talk about it again. Basically, I am focusing on um, work and school and potentially moving and just a lot of life stuff, adult stuff. I'm definitely going to keep playing video games, but I just don't think I'm going to keep doing it in a competitive way at all. So that's kind of a general look at my next steps after deciding not to play Call of Duty competitively anymore. But then, what skills has COD brought into everyday life? Now, that question
Is a
is
good question.
interesting. It is a good question. I would I would actually reverse that. And I would say that a lot of things from my everyday life and about myself are what made me a good Call of Duty player. Uh well, I'm not gonna say good because I don't know if I was good, but
Okay, dude.
I was a
Shut
decent
your mouth.
I was
Shut
able
your
to play
mouth.
Call of Duty competitively and be competent at it. Uh
Competent.
I think the fact that I did a lot of improv and stuff in high school, and I'm a pretty good improviser. I think that helps with Call of Duty. I think uh, the fact that I have pretty decent patience also helped with Call of Duty in the way I played it. And so I don't think like Call of Duty necessarily taught me anything about everyday life, but I think a lot of things about my life uh, are what made me pretty decent at Call of Duty, if that makes
Nice.
sense.
Well, I'm just gonna
Uh,
say straight up that because I'm a delivery driver, I'm just cracked. Like I am in COD. I just took that firsthand and just absolutely made it my life's work to just be absolutely cracked at everything I do.
all
No,
right, all
no, I'm just kidding.
right.
Um, as far as skills that COD has brought me, it's got to be communication.
Yeah,
It's kind of a big deal. And something that I never really focused on that much in real life because I don't know. It's just I could do my own thing. I don't really need
yeah,
to tell a bunch of people a bunch of stuff. But with everything that's been going on in my life as well, I think being able to communicate with friends and family and figure out the things that I needed to figure out is really helpful. I'm not going to say that I learned it from COD or it's a skill that I brought from COD. I mean, everyone kind of learns how to communicate with people at the age of 2 or 3, so that's kind of how it goes. But it's definitely kind of something that has popped up that I've noticed is similar. When you communicate with people that you care about and people that you think are going to be helpful and things like that, I feel like it's a good thing. So
yeah. I mean, I'm sure Call of Duty has taught me things, or like, yeah, taught me things that I do in everyday life because I've been playing it for so damn long. Uh, but they're not things that are immediately apparent to me. Um, so yeah, that's my answer to that.
all right, all right.
Let me see. There's no more questions from the Discord, and I don't see any more questions in the chat. Do you want to talk about anything else here, Ethan?
Um, I think we can kind of just round it out and tell you guys what we are planning on talking about next week, so we
Yes.
can get some questions flowing for that, and also tell you what we are up to in the meantime that you guys can check us out and kind of leave some comments and things like that. So, firstly, next week we plan on talking about music, all aspects of music, why it's such a big deal for community and in your personal lives as well, which me and Billy will go ahead and dive into next week. Things that music has helped us get through and why we think it does that, why we like specific types of music, things like that. But is there anything you want to add?
No, yeah, we're gonna talk about music. Um, we definitely love some questions or some input from you guys on things we should maybe touch on with that. And if there's obviously any big CDL news, we will definitely cover that, which I feel like there probably will be in the
Yeah,
next
I
week
would
about.
say. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was gonna say about like champs and all that.
Yeah,
I would say there's gonna be pretty big news in the next week or so.
yeah. I just wanted to let everyone know that no matter what we talk about in the episode, if there are anything going on in the CDL, you can always find it here. We will be here,
Yeah.
and we will let you know, and we will talk about it briefly, or as not briefly as needed,
Yes.
depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna figure out how to fix my lighting situation in my room
yeah,
though.
me too. I don't like how my face is always red, but that's just how it goes. Um, Last but not least, from now on, our VODs will be uploaded on YouTube, which you can
Yep.
find it at the Double Chow podcast on YouTube
Yep.
as well. So it is very similar. Um, Last but not least, I would say just don't forget to drop a follow. And if you have any questions, we always ask that you pop into our Discord. It's brand new. We just made it. We're trying to build up a community there. So I would say share it to your friends. Get some more people in here that you think would enjoy to watch it.
Yep.
And that also might have some questions for us. Just let them know. And we'll go ahead and keep building it as we see it from
Oh yeah.
today and onward. So, other than that, do you have anything to add, Mr. Billy G?
That's it, man. Thank you for everyone who stopped in and asked questions. And like Ethan said, spread the word. If you got people who would be interested in this sort of podcast, let them know where to find us. Join our Discord. And we'll be here next week, Monday, around the same time.
All right, everybody. Well, that has been the Double Chow podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. And you guys have a great rest of the week.